SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man, E. How are you doing today?
Hey, Bob, I am good to be here, back on another Around the Table with you.
Absolutely. This is Around the Table with E and the Fat Man. That is E. I'm the Fat Man, and this is where we just talk about pretty much whatever we want related to sports, typically. Sometimes E likes to drop a little bit of, what do you call it, pop culture on us. tries to help me with my, what's the word, my culture.
Staying current. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I guess we're 3 weeks into the season, 4 weeks into the season now. And there's
still early in the year, but there's been a lot of drama going on.
Absolutely. A lot of drama, a lot of surprises. Well, first, let me ask you, what do we got? 4 games left in March? And I don't know where we're at in March Madness. But we're getting close to the Final Four.
Yeah, 1 week away from it. That's what matters. And it has been a fairly shocking NCAA tournament. You know, I think people are used to expecting some early round upsets, and you're going to get a Cinderella or something like that in. It's kind of nothing but Cinderellas, really. UConn and Texas, I guess, are the two teams that made it the furthest, but all the number one seeds knocked out. Basically, whatever your expectations were after the field was set, throw them out the window, because it's been kind of a wild NCAA year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the first time since, from my understanding, this is the first time since seedings were done that there has not been a number one in the Final Four. And I believe it. And I believe it was 1979. I can't remember the date for sure, but I know it was in the 70s. I believe it was 79 when they started to do the seedings. And yeah, I was going back, and even the first time since, I believe, 2011 that we won't have a number one in the championship game. I believe it was not 2011, maybe 2014. But yeah, no, we got number 4 UConn, number 9 FAU. Who do we have left? San Diego State and Creighton?
San Diego State, Creighton, Texas.
Miami, Texas.
And Miami are fighting it out for the other 2 spots.
So the highest possible seed is a 2.
That's right, but with Texas.
If that 2 loses, we're going to have a 4, possibly a 9. A 5 or a 6. I know, it's crazy. It is crazy.
I almost expect it to happen. I expect whatever the lower seed is to advance at this point.
You know, I'm as a Penn State fan, obviously I'm disappointed that Texas is there, but I am glad that the team that beat us is still in it.
It's still there. Hey, you guys had a nice Big Ten tournament and even a decent NCAA run. You won a game.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about Penn State basketball. I don't want to be too disrespectful.
Fair enough. I know you lost Shrewsbury.
Yeah, let's not talk about him. I have a nickname for him, but I'm not going to say that on here. Well, anyway, so with SimWorld Hoops, the SimWorld Hoops season, do you have any surprises? I guess we can probably come up with 3 each. I'm sure typically our ideas cross. So
that's true.
What's one of yours?
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Well, Bob, as I look at the SimWorld Hoops year, there's been one team that has really surprised me in a positive way. I mean, there's been a few positive surprises. I don't want to mean like there's only one team out there doing this, but there is one that has totally caught my attention, and that is, drum roll please, Lone Star Basketball Club.
Yes.
5-0 on top of the Savannah division, where, they're ahead of Southeast Select, which was everybody's favorite going into the start of the year. Lone Star, it's kind of crazy. You go back and you look at their games, and they're not necessarily blowing people out. They're not winning games by 10, 15, 20 points. In fact, their last 2 games, they beat ATL by 3. And then just on Saturday, a 1-point victory. They needed Nene Gibson to bail them out with a shot at the buzzer, basically, to get past a winless SimWorld Oceania squad. It's not like they're out there just killing teams, looking like that 70-win Bulls squad from the 90s or something like that. But hey, you know what? Winning close games is a skill too. Yeah. Knowing how to play in clutch time absolutely matters. I think these guys have it. And the crazy thing is that you look at this lineup, and Lone Star is a very kind of perimeter-oriented team. I mean, Nene Gibson, 6'5". Jace McGuez, 6'4", out on the wing and out on playing guard spots, and even their point guard Mork Thomas, I would say. But it's been defense. They have just been absolutely 100% getting it done on defense. They lead the league in opponent points allowed per game, 57.5 per game, keeping teams to below 60. And they're also getting it done really with rebounding and interior defense. I mean, Derek Long, their starting senior, he's a SimWorld veteran. He played last year. I mean, he's 6'10" and 220, and he's got some skills, but, he's never probably going to be a double-digit point a guy game. Yeah. It's just not going to happen for him. But, just a real defensive force down in there. And then they've got all these nice pieces, LaShawn Berry, Mason Green's another big for them who's come in and played well, ranked, he's 98th on the composite ranks. And Tyrell Marr coming off the bench, kind of a, spark plug super sub. I am just really, really a big fan of Lone Star Basketball Club and what they've been doing. I look at this roster, I look at this team. If there's one weakness, it's that maybe a team that was a lights-out three-point shooting team and got hot could burn them. They're not necessarily the world's best perimeter defensive team. To be honest, only Kyrie Witten-Justin, who barely plays and is 16 years old, is their only really kind of naturally good perimeter defender. But look out below, 5-0. And I think it's really, even this early in the season, it's already a two-horse race between Lone Star and Southeast to win the Savannah division.
What concerns me, speaking as a Minnesota Vikings fan, is the fact that they are winning a lot of these close games, but are they going to go cold at the wrong time? The Vikings went 11-0 in one-score games this last season and lost the only one that mattered in the playoffs. So, right. Yes, Lone Star Basketball Club, they're 5-0. You can't discredit them for that. They're finding ways to win, but I'll be real interested to see what happens once they hit the race to one. I mean, they're definitely Texas. I don't want to say Texas as a whole was a big surprise, but the fact that they're still as a whole sitting at 8-1, right? There's only two Texas teams. We're not forgetting one, right?
No. You got them all. You got them all.
They're sitting at 8-1.
I've talked about Texas. Yeah.
So for me, I'll stick with a team that has been a surprise as well. And this shouldn't be any surprise. I have to go with Rocky Mountain Monsters.
They've been a good surprise too.
Yeah, for me, with the drama that came whenever Coach Josh Robertson came back to the team, when he was very nonchalant about, I'm not really looking to win. I'm just here to have fun. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations for them heading into the season, but they had in my opinion, one of the best pure point guards in Kenneth Gaffney coming back. Ireland Early, I wasn't big on him. So he was a disappointment last season. I thought he would be better, and he wasn't what he is now. He is who we thought he was.
That's right.
But Rocky Mountain Monsters, the fact that they're sitting at 4-0 right now, they have two very, very good guards. I mean, Ireland Early, technically probably a wing, but they got him playing at shooting guard, and maybe that's what really set him up from last season to this season. But I think they have one of the top guard combos in the country, and the fact that they're at 4-0, though, I mean, they're leading the league in points scored, they're leading the league in assists, so they're not afraid to pass the ball. With field goal percentage, they are top 5 in some of the most important categories that you need to be in, and when you're scoring the most points in the league and giving up the second least amount of points in the league, someone's doing something right.
Got to agree with you there, Bob. I mean, I think Rocky Mountain, maybe we didn't expect so much of them this year because they struggled last year. They're bringing back 2 players in Kenneth Gaffney and Ireland Early that didn't exactly set SimWorld on fire the previous season. But you're right about both those guys. Gaffney averaging almost 7 assists and more than 14 points a game. And then Ireland Early, averaging 14 a game. And he is shooting currently 77. Excuse me. I'm not used to dealing with large numbers when you're talking about 3-point shooting percentages.
I know.
He is drilling 77% of his threes, and it's not that he's not shooting volume. He's made 13 of them in 4 games. So, I'm really impressed with that. Also got to say, Josh Robinson did a nice job of bringing in some guys who weren't necessarily the most heralded recruits, but man, have they been solid. Lucas Banks, the kid from Florida, moved to the Rockies, and another transplant, Justin Bell from Tennessee, both playing nice minutes, playing efficient basketball out there, both of them averaging just about double figures. Banks is actually at 11.3. And, I'd also credit Boobie Walker.
Yeah.
He's looked really good too. Come in, 6'7", playing solid big man minutes. I like Rocky Mountain. I don't necessarily think that they're going away.
No.
They don't necessarily have, that one kind of just bruising guy down in the paint. Daquan McDougal III, maybe he's going to be that, but he's just 16 years old right now. Boy, put a Tyson Simpson on Rocky and they might run away with it all. But but Tyson chose St. Louis. We all know that. But I like your pick here. Rocky Mountain, yeah, they've been a very pleasant surprise, no doubt about it.
Oh, for sure. And I'm going to go with I'm going to keep it in my court. I'm going to keep the ball. So I'm going to give my second biggest surprise. And,
take it, yeah.
And I know some people are like, "Oh, I knew he wasn't going to do anything." Blah blah blah. It's like we don't know. I mean, preseason is preseason. Everything is based off of what if. What could be. Mackenzie McBacco for Gotham 5 has been a huge surprise for me. And he has done better, but he did absolutely nothing to start the season. And he was a kid that with his level of talent, he should be up there with DJ Wagner and Bronny James. And he is, I would struggle to even put him close to number 50. Right now, as based off of what is happening in the season right now, I don't know if he's a top 50 player.
Yeah, I hear you. I get your point, because it is absolutely true. I mean, keep in mind, Mackenzie is not necessarily a great athlete, but what he is a 6'9" player who's got some, really high level skills in terms of, being able to play defense and shoot the ball, even distribute a little bit. I would like to think, as skilled as he is, and I've watched some of his games. I've even called some of his games on SimWorld TV. And a quick little aside and promo: if you're not watching games on SimWorld TV, what the hell are you doing? You're not doing this right. do better.
Where are
you?
Better.
Do better. Be better. Okay, Michelle Obama taught you that. No, wait, that was actually Melania Trump. I'm messing up my first lady programs.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Michelle Obama. She ruined school lunches for me.
There you go.
We didn't have Strombolis anymore at school my senior year of high school because she wanted us to be healthy. I wanted to be fat. I don't care about healthy food.
Freedom. That's right. You saw Braveheart. Anyway, Mackenzie Mbako, to bring it back to him, I would like to think that this is just a kid who's just had a little 4-game bad stretch. And his numbers kind of back that up. I mean, 44% from the field with his shot, just 24% from deep, and he can definitely shoot the three. I think he's going to come around. I think he's going to be fine, but I got to say, I can't criticize you in the slightest for picking him up and singling him out as a surprise, as a negative surprise for you, because we're talking about one of the top ranked players in the game, and just hasn't broken out. Granted, G5 is a loaded team with a lot of stars and a lot of mouths to feed. But definitely the biggest players on the squad so far for them: Keon Anthony, Majere Williams, and Aaron Lovejoy. Mackenzie's still in that starting spot, still playing starters minutes, but just hasn't even broken out on his own team, let alone in SimWorld yet. So, fair point, Bob. I like it. Well, let me take the ball for a moment, metaphorically speaking, and I will go to my second as well, which is also, Bob and I both started positive, and now we're both going negative in our second little call out here. But if Lone Star was the team that has really impressed me, over expectations. The one that for me has come in way, way under where I thought they would be and is really disappointed so far is Queen City Kings.
Okay.
They're 1-4. They haven't looked good going 1-4. It's not like there's been a bunch of heartbreaking losses and things like that. And the thing is that, again, these names mean more maybe for some of us who were around last season, but the returning players that Queen City was bringing back, Norvell DeJean-Jones ought to be one of the best point guards in the game. No doubt about it. Braxton Schuyler, one of the best sort of like swing guard, small forward kind of guys out there. Deontay Odom should be a paint monster. He should be out there rebounding, cleaning everything up. And Darian Banks as well. They almost half the team, core returning guys, and then it's not like they didn't recruit some real players too. I mean, you've got Sky Durant on this team. You've got Madison Miles III. Some players, and boy, I mean, just not getting it done at all. Norvell DeJean-Jones averaging 2.8 assists per game.
Unlike him. Completely unlike him.
It's like, I don't know if they're trying to make a more of an offensive, scoring focus with this. But that's completely out of whack. Deontay Odom's been okay, but Braxton Schuyler, 6 points, 4 rebounds a game. What is that? Sky Durant, some of the new guys been contributing decent minutes, but, look at Sky Durant for a moment. 6'7", loads of talent, good scorer. But he's averaging, 12 points, but he's shooting 38% from the field and worse from beyond the 3-point line. So, it is an imperfect team when you look at it. And maybe I didn't take a close look at Queen City before the season started, and my expectations were just kind of based again on those names and those players and that collection of talent. And I thought they'd be at least decent. You take a little bit more of a microscope look at them right now, and you realize two things. Number one, Queen City might be, just on a talent basis, just on a pure natural shooting ability, the worst shooting team in SimWorld Hoops. It's a major flaw in Coach Darius Simmons' lineup. There's just no real good shooters out there. Norvell DeJean-Jones and Sky Durant are probably the two guys, and they're just not, particularly special at it. And you've got some nice post defenders. The new guy, Madison Miles, and Deontay Odom kind of pair together well like that. But defensively, this is a team with some holes in it, particularly, again, out on the perimeter. They could get lit up by anybody on any given night. It's a team full of athletes. If it was a track meet, I'd put Queen City out there with H-Town, and that'd be a good battle. Watch them go to work at the Penn Relays or something like that. But in basketball terms, athleticism is great, but it only gets you so far. Queen City, quite the disappointment this year. This team has four players ranked going into the season, but that's going to drop to 2, maybe 1, I think, when the newest rankings come out. So, Queen City, I'm sorry, but you've let me down this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that you were going to give me, just heading into the season, Norvell DeJean-Jones and Braxton Schuyler, I'm like, okay, well, how far are we going? Because
right.
Last season, I mean, Norvell DeJean-Jones, he set the SimWorld Hoops assist record last season. I believe he had 11 or 12 in a game. Where is he? I don't know. They got a missing flyer. Someone put the missing flyer up. Put his face on the milk carton. Where is he? Braxton Schuyler too. Braxton Schuyler he's a menace last season. He gave so many teams fits, and put them both on the carton, one on each side. I don't know. I expected a lot more from them, especially with a coach as good as Coach Darius Simmons.
I know he's one of your favorites. I know. He's one of your favorites.
Yeah, and they got what looked like a sharpshooter heading in from the preseason, Sky Durant. I really expected a lot from him, but I cannot disagree with you on the disappointment that Queen City Kings is.
Yeah. Yeah, such a letdown. Such a letdown. Well, hey, Bob, we both have one more surprise from the early SimWorld season to talk about. I'll let you take the third. Are you gonna elevate the tone here, or are you gonna bring it down with some more negativity?
I'm not 100% sure. There's so many
Oh,
different ways
interesting.
that there's so many different ways that I could go. I could
Okay, yeah,
go
well,
with I could go with how disappointing the North is, how
yeah.
disappointing the international champion, the Ground Zero international champion,
Mm-hmm.
SimWorld Africa is,
But you
or
could talk about what a pleasant surprise SimWorld South America's been.
how good
5-0 SimWorld South
how
America.
good SimWorld South America has been. The fact that the beasts in the East are on
Mhm.
top of the Atlantic Division when you have Gotham 5 DMV
Yeah.
and a defensive monster in the preseason, Philadelphia, sitting
Yeah.
at the bottom there. I mean, there's so many different things. I think that I am going to talk about how good of a battle that number one spot is going to be this season in SimWorld Hoops. Bronny James and DJ Wagner. It's been a big surprise for me that Bronny James has been able to do what he's doing. I am still on the Wagner train. I still think he is the best overall player in SimWorld Hoops in the country, period. But it's just I like to see battles like that. I guess I'll say I'm a little surprised that it's only a 2-man battle, because if you remember last season, I think for I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 rankings in a row, the number one spot changed, and it was somebody different. It wasn't somebody like, oh, this guy, he had a bad month or whatever. He'll go down one, then he'll be back up. It was somebody different every week until CKC took hold of that and never let it go. So yeah, the big surprise again is just, one, that it's a 1-man race, and 2, just that there is a race. I'm kind of contradicting myself. Like the fact that it's a 2-man race, the fact that it's a 2-man race, and the fact that it's only a 2-man race. It's you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
But I think there are some players that have really stepped up. Brian Webb was obviously good last season. But the fact that he is scoring the 4th most points in the league is a little bit surprising. There are some players. Jace Miguez, I'll give it to. What's his face? What's that one guy that has a podcast?
Ooh,
Marsh.
On which team? What are we
That Marsh guy. That Marsh guy. When we did our little pod, I joined him on the Marsh pod. And if you're not listening to that twice a week,
Yeah, need to
get
be
your
on
lives
that too.
get your lives together. When he picked Jace Miguez, I was kind of like, I don't have this guy in my notes anywhere, so I don't know who this is. And here we go with the guy. I mean, every other week he's on the top 10 SimWorld Hoops highlights or top 10 plays. And I guess I'm just surprised at how much talent we have right now. We'll go to that there. We have so much talent and so much surprise talent. Don't forget De'Aaron Cruz. I don't think he's a surprise from what he did in the preseason. People expected a lot from him, but just want to mention his name so people don't forget.
Oh no. Well, he can get a little bit overlooked because Gulf Coast is not necessarily off to a hot start. And to be honest, I don't expect them to really change that. I think outside of De'Aaron, Gulf Coast is a little bit thin this year. Actually, they've got a lot of 16-year-olds, and I think next year they're going to be pretty good. De'Aaron Cruz, 20 points a game, and he can light it up. He can pull down some rebounds for being his size and whatever else. I like De'Aaron Cruz. Make sure to watch some Gulf Coast action, even if they're not playing for championships this year. So I like that, Bob. Well, let me round out the surprises. And what I'm going to talk about with my final surprise, my third surprise, isn't about this team being amazing or something like that, because quite frankly, they're not. They're 1-4 to start the year. But what I have been really impressed with, and in fact, anybody listening out there, if you want to maybe type in on Discord when we put this up live, your own suggestion theory on how this is happening. The AT Aliens, they're just 1-4. They have two players who are 6'8", and those are their tallest guys, and one of the 6'8" dudes plays barely 10 minutes a game. They are rebounding the life out of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
How are they doing this, Bob? I am completely befuddled. Atlanta is your second overall total rebounds per game, a leader in SimWorld Hoops so far. They're right behind H-Town. They're pulling down 35 a game, and they actually lead SimWorld in offensive rebounds per game, grabbing one whole rebound per game more than the number 2 team, H-Town. And by the way, H-Town grabs 2 more than the team following them. So, like, they're a true outlier, H-Town and ATL. H-Town, I get it. Everybody on H-Town can jump out of the gym. They're huge. They're strong. You know, I expected them to be this big, powerful rebounding team, right?
Yeah.
And then there's AT Aliens. And again, I am just mystified how they do this. D'Angelo Muto, he is an athlete. He's only 6'7". He's their starting pivot. And, you know, he's not a big-time scorer, but he is averaging, pulling down more than the 9 rebounds a game. But, you know, outside of that, I mean, Isaiah Rose, again, nobody's talking about him too much, and that's because he struggled to shoot the ball to start the year. He's averaging 3 points, and he's shooting below 30%, not what you want a guy who's playing a big man role for you to do exactly.
No.
But the team leader with 9.4 rebounds per game, so you got 2 guys almost averaging double digits, and then it's just a team effort.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, AT Aliens also have the smallest dude in the game, Kalen Colbert. Now, he's not playing a ton of minutes. He actually played a lot more for him last year is another thing. But you know, he's out there doing his thing too. Everybody is. You got, you know, Malachi Booth, 6'3". He's pulling down 6.2 rebounds, or 2.6 rebounds a game. DeMario Duvall, 3.2 rebounds per game. It's a kind of a team effort from everybody out there. You really wouldn't expect it when you first glanced at the ATL lineup, but they are a rebounding machine, and it goes to show you, hey, you know, fine, we're 1-4. We're well below Lone Star there in the Savannah division. We're looking up at them in Southeast. We got a long way to go, but you can still find some bright spots and some pretty impressive things, even for teams that are having a struggling patch, which AT Aliens are. And yeah, I had to call it out on the show today because I've noticed it before, and I am amazed and perplexed how that is one of the most ferocious rebounding teams in the league, but they absolutely are. And, you know, credit to the players on that team and to Coach LaTroy Hamilton for getting them to work.
You know, for me, if you look at that team, they are a scorer away from probably being three and 2 something. I mean, they average the 30th least amount of points in this. In all SimWorld games. They're averaging 61.6 points per game. But yeah, when you look at like the rebounding, they're not turning the ball over. No. They're averaging 61.6 points per game. Their opponents are averaging 62.8. That's good for number 4 in the in all of SimWorld Hoops. Like defensively on that aspect, they're not giving up the points. They're out rebounding. But man, it's just offense. Like there is no offense. And LaTroy, I'm sure he could change something up. Coach Hamilton could change something a little, maybe to get somebody to be the guy when it comes to scoring. I mean, it's DeMario Duvall, 14 points. Yeah. Nobody else is scoring double digits. We have teams where they have 4 and 5 players scoring at least 10 points per game. That's right. It's just they don't have scorers, and I think it could be a little tweak on the offensive side of the ball that could see them skyrocket. I mean, again, yeah, they are 1-4. They're just not getting it done, but it's huge. That rebounding is ridiculous.
Yes, the rebounding is ridiculous. If some guys can find their shot, Malachi Booth, we know he can score. We know he's an offensive threat. He started the season just a little bit cold. He's below 40%. In fact, he's right on 35%, both from the field and from 3. You know, get him a little bit heated up. I think he can do something for you out there. DeMario Duvall, chipping in 14 a game, but not efficient at all. He too is shooting 35% from the field. So maybe there's some hope out there for Georgia, down in the state of Georgia, because a little bit of tweaking, maybe just a little bit more offensive efficiency, and keep that defensive and rebounding intensity there. This could be a good team yet. This could be a good team.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, what all we talk about today? We said some of our, there's a whole lot of talent. The Lone Star Basketball Club. I mean, there's just so many surprises. Is there anything else? I mean, we're hitting our time. We like to not talk people's ear off, and I like to ramble on about nothing. Is there anything else that you want the people to know?
No, although Bob, I'll throw one last little thing out there, which was that and I mentioned them earlier, and I did it because I hated leading them off of my surprises list, but watch some SimWorld South America, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about the fact that Atlanta only has one kid in double digits. I think 4 of the 5 South America starters are averaging double figures. They're 5-0. They've beat real teams too. They're not doing this on smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Keep an eye on them. If you haven't been thinking about South America, take a look at South America. I'll throw that out there. You got a final wish for the folks, Bob?
I don't. I mean, I would say I want to agree with you. I mean, Patricio Ramirez, he was one of the top international players last season in the Ground Zero season, and I'm just glad to see him doing some of the things that he's doing. But no, I think I appreciate you as always, E, being on here with me.
You too, sir.
And I appreciate everybody listening to us, and I hope you guys all have a good rest of your weekend.